The 1980s, it wasn't just a decade, right? It was a complete cultural explosion. This was a time of just wild, unapologetic ambition where all those earth tones from the 70s got completely blown away by a future that felt synthetic, supercharged, and just glowing with neon. So let's dive in. First up, maximalism. Seriously, everything was bigger. The hair, the shoulder pads, the ego. It was all about more is more.
And then there was excess. You had the greed is good mantra echoing on Wall Street. You had shows like Dynasty dripping with glamour. Excess really was the name of the game.
And ambition? That was the fuel for the fire. It didn't matter if you were trying to climb the corporate ladder or creating a whole new culture out on the streets. The goal was exactly the same. Make your mark, and make it loud.
You see, the decade really kicked off with this hard rejection of the 70s. All that psychedelic, flowery, ornate stuff from the disco era, gone. In its place, you get the new wave aesthetic, a sound and a style defined by these sharp angles, super bold colors, and a real love for anything synthetic. This wasn't some slow, gradual shift. No, this was a full-on revolution.
And, ground zero for this whole revolution had to be New York City. But here's the thing, it wasn't just one city. It was really two cities living side by side in the same concrete canyons, and each one had its own uniform, its own mission.
Okay, so downtown, in the glass towers of Wall Street Midtown, power dressing became the uniform. And what's so fascinating here is that fashion basically became a weapon. For women who were entering the workforce in these huge, unprecedented numbers, the power suit, with its crazy huge shoulder pads and sharp lines, it was a way to project authority. It was a way to command respect in spaces that were, completely dominated by men.
But then you travel uptown to the Bronx, and you find a completely different kind of power being broadcast to the world. Hip-hop culture was just exploding into the mainstream, and its fashion, well, that was its mission statement. This wasn't about trying to fit into the establishment. It was about building a brand new one from the ground up, with a style that was absolutely impossible to ignore.
So you have this incredible clash, right? On one side, you've got the power suit. It's like corporate armor. And on the other, you've got b-boy style, a uniform of raw authenticity. When a group like Run DMC traded in their flashy stage costumes for their everyday Adidas tracksuits and shell-toe sneakers, that was a massive statement. It said, the street is the new stage.
And what was providing the soundtrack for this whole urban drama? A little piece of revolutionary tech, the Sony Walkman. Now, it wasn't really new technology. It was just a clever mashup of parts that already existed. But its impact, it was seismic. It let you completely cut the cord from your home stereo and create this private sonic bubble wherever you went.
And just like that, suddenly life felt like a movie. The pulsing traffic, the people walking by on the sidewalk, everything suddenly had this new meaning because it was filtered through your own personal soundtrack. This little device could completely change your relationship with the city around you, turning a boring daily commute into this grand cinematic experience.
All right, let's head over to the West Coast, to Los Angeles. Out there, the urban revolution wasn't about corporate power or street cred. No, it was all about the body as a project, a canvas for achieving physical perfection and living out some flamboyant fantasy.
First off, you had the aerobics craze, and thanks to icons like Jane Fonda, gym wear just broke out of the gym and hit the streets. Neon leotards, tights, leg warmers, they became everyday fashion. And the key innovation here was Lycra, this synthetic fabric that basically acted like a second skin, turning sportswear into a very public symbol of a healthy, disciplined lifestyle.
But LA also had this amazing counterculture. The New Romantics were a direct pushback against all that casual fitness wear. They were inspired by historical figures, by glam rock, by designers like Vivienne Westwood. This whole look was just defined by pure flamboyance and androgyny. We're talking frilled pirate shirts, military-style jackets, theatrical makeup. It was a total escape into fantasy.
But look, the 80s urban revolution wasn't just a coastal thing. Deep in the American heartland, another transformation was happening. And this one was driven by totally new spaces and brand new sounds.
In the suburbs and cities of the Midwest, the mall became the new town square. Think about it. It was this controlled, safe, neon-lit world that basically served as the main social hub for an entire generation. It was the place where mainstream culture was born and consumed. And this shift was a huge deal for cities like Chicago, which were moving away from their industrial past. And out of this new landscape, a new sound emerged: house music.
Born in the clubs of Chicago, it was this raw, electronic groove built on synthesizers and these newly affordable drum machines, like the legendary Roland TR-808. It was a deliberate break from the lush, string-filled disco of the 70s, and it was the perfect soundtrack for a new kind of city.
So when you pull all these threads together, the fashion, the music, the spaces, you start to see a decade that was really defined by a revolution in personal tech. A revolution that fundamentally changed how we experience the world, and maybe more importantly, how we experience each other.
And here's the crucial point. The Walkman was the very first mass mobile device that allowed us to privatize public space. Those headphones became a visual do not disturb sign. You could be on a crowded subway car, but you were also completely alone in your own sonic world. It's a concept that we take completely for granted now with our smartphones, but back then, it was brand new.
And all of this leaves us with a really fascinating question. The 1980s gave us the tools to customize our own reality. It put a personal soundtrack in our ears and moved entertainment from the public arcade to the private living room with home computers and gaming consoles. So looking back, you have to wonder, was this the moment our modern world was truly born? A world where we're more connected than ever, but maybe, just maybe, also more alone?